Hey everyone, welcome to the video. So today we're on the PB and we're looking at this, the shield bash, the new rune that's coming out next patch. So basically when you have a shield on, you gain some bonus armor, magic resist, and the next attack you do is going to deal a bunch of bonus damage. Normally I come on the PB and I test stuff anyway, and a lot of you guys asked me to test some stuff for shield bash in that previous video. So I'm basically going to go through some of those, and I'm going to bring you along for some other ones as well. I'm going to see how many crazy, weird, or stupid, or really strong things that you can do with the new rune shield bash. Hopefully you enjoy, but we're going to start with Victor. So this was from a guy called Kojags, I think, in the comment section. I'm really sorry if I get your name wrong, by the way. But yeah, so every time you use your Q here, you get the bonus armor magic resist, and you do a bit more damage on your next auto attack. Now, obviously, this actually scales with the new shield amount, and your shield actually scales with mana. So if you have more mana, it will give you a bigger shield, I believe, which is really cool. And I believe it actually works with Archangels as well, but you can't fully stack things in the practice tool because it's dumb as hell. But if I go in here, you see I actually get more... I didn't mean to press my W. If I get more bonus armor and magic resist as well, this is the entire point of it. But the thing with Victor is I have 45% cooldown reduction, which means my Q is now 2.2 second cooldown, which is pretty insane anyway. So every 2.5 seconds, or less than 2.5 seconds actually, I get bonus armor and magic resist to make myself even tankier, and I start to do more damage as well. I've already racked up 200 damage from the shield bash, and I've only hit this a couple of times. I have got some weird items and everything as well, but basically this is probably going to be the strongest interaction in the entire game, in my opinion. I have a very standard rune page where you've gone into kleptomancy anyway, and I've gone into a bit of defense afterwards, so it makes you tankier. Broken interaction number 2, and this actually might be the strongest one. I'm not sure. It is going to be sound, because when you press your W, it triggers shield bash. Seriously, it actually does a bunch of damage anyway if I use it just like that, and then I hit afterwards, I just hit 50 extra damage as sun. And this isn't even that weird of a build, but the thing is, shield bash has a scaling with the shield amount and also bonus health, but the shield also scales with maximum health. So you stack health and it actually increases both parts, because it's boosting the shield and the health ratio, if that makes sense. Because it's in the practice tool, I haven't killed any minions, I don't have any of the bonus health, right? So Sun, one of the big things is you get so much health because you actually kill minions, well, minions die around you, you get bonus health from that. I don't have any of that in this game. So actually shield bash in a normal game, when you've been stacking that up, stacking the health up, is actually going to be even stronger. It's the most insane synergy I think we're going to find out of any champion. By the way, if that wasn't enough, I've actually just picked up a locket to show you that as well. This triggers shield bash on everybody that it would go on to, and if I auto attack as well, that does a bunch of extra damage. So because shield bash has literally 0 cooldown, I could use my W and then I could use my locket afterwards, and I could actually layer it for 2 shield bash procs, and while those shields are active, I'm even more tanky. So that's kind of ridiculous. So I'm going to try and show you a bunch in the same video with Kai'Sa. So we have the barrier interaction, right, where it triggers the, which I still think is so dumb, but that's fair enough. So we have that one, which is kind of cool. You might want to use it on an AD carry. We have Kai'Sa's ultimate as well. So if I actually use this, it's going to go up as well and use the shield bash and the extra damage. The damage does scale with bonus health though. So obviously for an AD carry, it's not really going to do a ton. But another thing that we can actually do is I've taken overheal. Now thank you for Dirk, by the way, for this one, who put it in the comment section. I've taken Fleet for Work. I've taken overheal as well. Now if I auto attack and I get that health back, and I actually get to 100% with the Fleet Footwork, and we actually get a little bit of a shield. You can see my shield bash is actually triggered right now. Because overheal counts as a shield, it actually gives me a permanent armor and magic resist boost as long as my shield is there, which I think is actually kind of insane. Obviously, it's not going to be the best thing ever, but while that shield is actually, while it's active, if you have any life steal, if you're always full health, you basically just have bonus armor and magic resist this entire time while that shield is going to be active. And look, if I take some damage and the shield goes, then my armor magic resist goes back down. So this one was suggested by one of you guys. This meme is dead like me. Nice name, by the way. Thank you for that. But I actually can't show you right now because it's already active. So look at my armor and magic resist numbers here. When I go into tower and I lose my passive shield, which is about to happen now, you see my magic resist and my armor have gone down. So basically, every single time my passive actually is active for the shield bash is going to be giving me bonus armor and magic resist, which is kind of ridiculous. You start every single fight with a bonus. Watch it now. It's going to actually go back up again. And here we go. My armor and magic resist to go back up. Now I could hit somebody and it would do a bit more damage. And it's actually active as well, the first champion I hit. So it will do bonus damage if I whack somebody. Now the other thing I want to show you with this one as well is for a lot of different champions, I'm going to get rid of my passive to start with. So you can see that obviously the armor and magic resist drops from shield bash, which is great. And now if I actually put an ally next to me and I walk next to it while it takes this, the guardian shield is going to proc and my shield bash procs as well for the short time that the Guardian shield is active. But if either of us had shield bash, we'd actually get the bonus damage as well, that we could attack somebody on the same thing. So this Recom one is insane because it works with his passive, but it also works with Guardian. We're on to Mordekaiser now. You can probably guess where this one is going because you get a shield every single time you do some damage. Thank you to Philippe, by the way, for suggesting this one in the video comments. See, I do a bit of damage, my shield bash triggers, I get the bonus armor and magic resist. It's that simple, really. Every single time I do a bit of damage and I get a shield, I get bonus armor and magic resist, making myself tankier, and the damage will be pretty good. If I attack here, I would do some damage extra from the shield bash, and that would actually increase with things like Rylai's if I bought them with the bonus health. Now we're on to Riven, and this one's kind of ridiculous. He's actually one of the strongest in the video, I think. Thank you to Cabanilla, by the way, for suggesting this in a video. But here we go. If I press my E, bonus armor and magic resist from shield bash. Every single time I press this, I trigger shield bash, and I would actually do bonus damage as well. So if I just press this right now, and then I go and hit this, I'm actually going to do a bit more damage. It's not a ton of damage because you haven't built much bonus health, but it actually is pretty ridiculous because every 4 or 5 seconds or whatever, I can get a shield and I trigger the bonus armor and magic resist. So the others have been a bit too serious so far. So we're going to look at a weirder one, which is casting every single time I press his Q, you get the shield bash. It doesn't actually do much damage. If I press Q here, an auto attack, it's going to do like, I actually did this already. It does about 20 something damage. So it's not a ton of damage, but it does give you armor and magic resist every single time you press your Q, which is quite a lot in a team fight. So not that bad, but a little bit weird. It doesn't really seem to fit that well, but you can take it if you want to, I guess. So this is another weird one, and you can probably guess where this is going to go, but his thick skin for a lot of game mechanics actually counts as a shield. So if I let this tick me down now, and we eventually get really, really low, and I activate my thick skin, it should trigger shield bash. And because it's such a massive shield, it's basically like a 3,000 health shield or something, I should be able to whack this for a ton of damage and do something really stupid. So let's try. So I do this and I hit them. Let's see if it triggered. It did trigger, and I did 171 damage. Obviously, you're not really going to do that normally, but if you just stacked health over and over, I only have 3,600 right now. You know, most of these have been doing like 20 damage. So for it doing like 170 is actually kind of ridiculous. I can show you it actually working as well, just quickly. Like if I press my E now, it triggers the armor and magic resist, which is great. So it actually works, and there's probably some really stupid stuff you can do with like 1,000,000 health Tom. It actually has some pretty good synergy with Tom. Every time you press your thick skin, which is normally when you're running away, you get armor and magic resist to try and survive a little bit more and be tankier, and then you whack somebody and it actually does a butt ton of damage. So that actually is not that bad. This actually might be a legit one as well. Like every time I press my W, shield bash is going to active, give me bonus armor and magic resist. And if I smack somebody, it's going to do bonus damage as well. So this is actually very similar to Scion. You just press your W, get a shield, get some bonus armor and magic resist to make you tankier and harder to break that shield. And then you're going to be doing bonus damage while it's active anyway. Yeah, you just do a little bit more on top. But this actually could be really deadly, especially I've only got 2 items here. So if I had like a full build of a lot of health, it would actually do a lot more damage. It just makes him a little bit more deadly. But there's a lot of synergy with tanks who have like a built-in shield with them. This one is super simple, but it's actually really strong. Every time Udyr is going to press his W, so in the jungle or wherever it is in a gank and stuff, he gets the shield bash triggered. So the higher level it is, the more armor and magic resist you actually get, by the way. It does last until it times off. So it's actually like it lasts a pretty long time. Obviously in the jungle, it's not going to last. It's a couple of hits, and that's pretty much it. But it reduces damage you take, and then late game when you're running around all the time, you're swapping stances. This scales with your maximum health, so every time you bash somebody, like the bigger the shield is, the more damage you'll be doing as well. But it's actually an insane synergy, and it probably is going to be really good for Udyr to take and kind of like run around and just be a lot harder to kill. I don't know if you really want to take Resolve on Camille, but it actually has some really good synergy with her. So every time you auto attack a champion, right, it swaps to give you a shield. So this one's physical on these. It actually triggers the shield bash. So every time I do this, unfortunately, got like a long cooldown. It triggers it. But the other really cool thing is I've hit these things once, right? And I actually did a bonus damage on that first auto attack. So technically, the shield wasn't even active, but I basically attacked once, and then the damage also increases from that one hit. Here you go. So I attack them and I actually get the damage straight away. So you don't have to do anything differently. You don't have to follow up with another attack if you don't want to. The first attack for Camille actually triggers the armor and magic resist boost and the damage at the same time, which I think is pretty cool. And obviously the shield increases as well. I think obviously it's 20% of a maximum health, I think. Yeah, so the more health you have will boost the shield amount, which will also boost the shield bash damage amount at the same time. It's like a dual synergy, which is actually really good. So the more health you have, the tankier you are, the more this is actually going to do in the first place. So I think it's a really, really good synergy, to be honest. There are loads that we could talk about. I think this is going to be the last one, though, and wrap up the video. Like, I mean, Shen's ult, I think, can trigger this as well. Ivern could trigger it. I think the Blitzcrank passive counts as shield, so that could trigger it as well. But Diana's W, every time you press this, you get bonus armor and magic resist, which is actually really, really cool. And it makes you a little bit tankier as you dive into fights, which is nice. And if you're in the lane phase, it might help you survive a little bit more every time you use it to like kind of avoid the harass, if that makes sense. The idea is that if the 3 orbs around you actually hit the champion, if you watch my health bar, it jumps up because of it. And then when you do that, it actually does a bunch of extra damage as well, because the shield strength or the shield bash damage is scaling with the shield strength. So basically, if you proc these 3 onto somebody, if you just hit them now, it wouldn't do that much. But if you hit all 3 of them, you get a massive shield, loads of bonus armor and magic resist, which lasts for quite a long time actually. And it does a good amount of damage on top of it. So it's actually kind of one of those sneaky like synergies that it might be pretty cool. I don't know if you like necessarily want to take it, but you could do, definitely. All right, so as I said, I think I'm going to wrap up the video there. Let me know if you have any more. Thank you to everybody who suggested ones, and I hope you found this kind of thing interesting. I do a lot of this testing on my own anyway, so I kind of thought I'd just find something pretty fun and like weird and really good stuff and interactions with the new rune. If you want me to do this for other stuff, definitely let me know. Like the video, subscribe, hit the bell if you haven't already. Thank you for watching, but for now, I will leave you with the robots.